how are we successful at quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger? How can we do this successfully? Therefore, put away all filthiness and rampant wickedness, and receive with meekness the implanted word. Put away sin, and receive the word with humility. This is a pattern that is repeated in the word frequently. Ephesians 4:22, to put off your old self, which belongs to the former manner of life and is corrupt through deceitful desires, and to be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and to put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in the true righteousness and holiness. Colossians 3:8, but now you must put them all away, anger, wrath, malice, slander, and obscene talk from your mouth. Do not lie to one another, seeing that you have put off the old self with its practices and have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge after the image of its creator. Hebrews 12:1, therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1, so put away all malice and all deceit and hypocrisy and envy and all slander. Like newborn infants, long for the pure spiritual milk, that by it you may grow up into salvation. The context for the word filthiness is a deliberate and determined impurity. It is ongoing sin or rebellion. You will never be able to hear if you don't lay aside your rebellion. The idea of receiving the word with meekness or humility is the idea of laying your ego aside. It's being a teachable person, a moldable person, like a piece of clay in the potter's hands. A faithful Christian receives the word with a submissive, gentle, and teachable spirit. When this occurs, what you're doing when you lay your ego aside and you receive with humility, you are cultivating the soil of your heart, getting rid of the weeds, getting rid of the rocks, getting rid of the rough stuff that inhibits the growth of the plant, and you're allowing the seed to take root. God then, and they let it to be watered by the word, and then God makes it grow and eventually bears fruit. 1 Peter 1:23, since you have been born again, not of perishable seed, but of imperishable, through the living and the abiding word of God. Romans 1:16, for I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. Matthew 13:23, as for what was sown on good soil, this is the one who hears the word and understands it. He indeed bears fruit and yields in one case 100-fold, and another 60, and another 30. And then it goes on in verse 21. Therefore put away all filthiness and rampant wickedness, and receive with meekness the implanted word, which is able to save your souls. There is nothing else that will save your soul. The Word of God produces faith, because faith comes by hearing, and hearing the Word of God. So Word of God produces faith, because faith comes by hearing, and you are saved by faith through grace. The Word of God is the entry point for a person to establish a genuine, real faith in God.